Welcome, friends, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a podcast created by fans for the fans, and we appreciate you listening to episode 145. I'm your host, the Architect of Pro Wrestling Podcast, Andy.
I'm also host of No Selling Wrestling Indie Fan and Football Lover, Jeremy.
And Tim is not here tonight. He has other things going on. He is in the recording studio for his band, which he talks about sometimes on the podcast. So it'll just be me and Jeremy tonight, but that's all right. We'll just keep it trucking along. We do a lot of two-firsts lately. These past couple of months.
Two-firsts?
The past couple of months have been a bunch of me and someone else, at least for most of the pod.
Well, it always has to be you. Like we've gone over this. Me and Tim can't do that.
Yeah.
We would just be
all write the notes.
Exactly.
What are you going to do? Go off of memory in order of segments in the shows?
Both me and Tim's memory are awful, so it won't go well.
So that being said, this week we are going to talk about mainly the All Out pay-per-view from AEW this past Saturday, but also we're going to be talking about CM Punk and much, much more that happened during this past week. Before we get started, though, please follow us everywhere. Basically, all social media. Our handle is at the PW Fan. And so that being said, let's get started. So I'm going to start with Raw this week. Usually, at least the past couple of weeks, we've been starting with like the AEW shows and then ending with WWE shows, but I figured we'd go AEW all the way into the pay-per-view, just straight on.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I thought it made sense. So this past Raw on the 2nd, Rhea Ripley would open up the show. She would cut a promo, and eventually Liv and Dom would come out. Damian Priest would come out to help out Rhea Ripley, so the Terror Twins. I don't like that.
I still don't like that name.
I'm not a fan of it, but they made a t-shirt. Yeah. At least Damon was wearing a Terror Twins t-shirt. But they worked on Rhea's ankle and tried to injure it, and that will come up later on. So we would find out that Damien's going to challenge the Judgment Day later in the night, and he needs a tag partner. Though they don't think he's going to find one. Not they, as in Rhea and him, but they, as in Judgment Day. Don't think he's going to find one because apparently no one likes Damien backstage. We'll get more into that later, but Chad Gable will challenge Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six to an 8-man street fight for technically tonight as we're recording, but
yeah, currently going on right now.
Lots of things. It'll be they're doing it for a week from now. So Lyra Valkyria would save Zelina Vega from a beatdown after her match. Lyra Valkyria was shown recently on NXT. The week before. CM Punk would cut a promo, making it seem like he's going to go after Gunther's World Heavyweight Championship. Towards the end of the promo, Drew McIntyre would attack. Pretty long beatdown. Would put Punk on a stretcher, and as Punk was getting wheeled out into the
all the way through like the back area.
There's a lot of violence this week.
A lot of.
Let me get that.
That's the theme from last week. It's just murder and violence.
Yeah, all the way through. So Punk would leave in an ambulance that night. So just like we kind of talked about, this feud is not over yet.
Yeah, and I think everyone saw it going to Bad Blood, anyways.
I did hear something though read something that possibly Gunther and Punk at Survivor Series.
Yeah, Survivor Series. Yeah,
is that what you read too?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like Gunther would have to. He still has to win. Then I don't see Punk winning that match.
I say.
I think Seth comes in.
Does Seth return then, or does he return beforehand to do something with Bronson Reed, like Bad Blood? I guess Bad Blood would make sense if he's going to go after Bronson Reed. But you can't screw Punk without going after the guy that took you out.
Yeah. You can't be like, I'm just going to move on to Punk. Yeah.
I feel like this guy
makes sense.
Took me out for months, but I forgive him.
I did like the visual of it looked really nice, even though it was like pretty brutal. But like towards like at the end of the beatdown when Punk's was going into the ambulance almost, and then Drew comes in and starts beating up again, and it's like Punk's bleeding from the mouth, and like Drew is like trying to like squeeze his eyes out of him, like out of Punk's head. Like it just looked really cool. Like you can feel like the hatred for each other as like on TV. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, the lines are getting blurred a little bit.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I still don't know. I mean, I see interviews with Drew all the time. I'm like, I don't know how you really feel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they like each other, but they're both professionals. And like, I think people keep referencing the photo that they take together or something. I don't know what it was, but I might have to look.
A photo together.
I don't know. I might have to look that up and see if we can find it. But
is it an old photo?
I don't think so because
a young Drew.
I don't know, but one thing also just that remind me of Raw on right now is the new commentator. Do you remember his name? I should have looked at it when. But while you look that up, I'll just say that his voice I find is like actually perfect. I think I wasn't sure at first. I was like, "Who is this guy?" But his voice is actually perfect for something like WWE.
Let's see his name.
Because I think he used to do like other things like sports or MMA.
So at the beginning of the show, they said he's done pretty much every sport. It's a little Mauro Ranallo-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, right?
That's definitely Triple H's vibe that he likes from commentary, because that was all NXT.
He's like, and
when
he's
he ran.
going for the suplex. Yeah. Joe Tessitore.
That's what it is. Yeah. Didn't they actually open the show in the ring with him and Wade Barrett? Or am I just okay?
Was it Wade Barrett? Yeah, Wade Barrett.
Yeah, because he's
and then Michael Cole and Corey Graves are SmackDown. That's a crazy, like, good team right there.
Yeah. What about when Pat McAfee comes back? Is he going to be on? He has to be with Cole though, because I don't think he can be.
So what, is he gone during like football season?
Yeah, he does like the college game day stuff, and he's always that's on Saturday, so that's why he has to like travel and can't do Fridays then, I guess, or it's just a lot early.
But like, who did they replace? Kevin Patrick?
Yeah, right. Because he was on SmackDown.
I liked Kevin Patrick.
I think they let him go like a while ago.
So what were they doing? Someone was doubling up?
Yeah, I think Cole was doing both shows.
Oh. Okay.
And then they finally switched it.
See, I didn't even... I don't know if that's a good thing. I didn't even notice Kevin Patrick was like gone.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember he got released, but like I don't remember anything about... Like, I didn't pay attention that like, oh, someone's doubling up. Like...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how he does.
Yeah, I mean, so far I like to
do it 1 week, but his voice is like distracting for me right now, and I don't know if that's just because it's new.
Yeah, it's definitely new, and it's like a very I don't know how to describe it. Like it's definitely deep, but it has like that radio style to it.
Moving forward, though, they continue this Intercontinental Championship tournament. Ilya Dragunov would defeat Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. So in the tournament so far, we have Ilya, Pete Dunne, Jey Uso. Is there a fourth yet?
I don't think so.
I'd have to look back.
I think
they did two matches last week. Maybe they only did one this week.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's a pretty good lineup right there. I don't think Pete...
I was going to say.
I mean, I think Jey Uso's probably good.
It's going to be good matches either way.
Yeah. Ilya and Pete Dunne, that's a cool combination.
Did you hear the whole thing about like with Jey Uso and like Rikishi? What he said?
No.
He said like that he doesn't feel like creative really has anything for him in WWE.
Rikishi, yeah, that was a little bit ago though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was like, I mean,
he was basically saying like
but should have been Jey Uso saying anything if he was gonna.
Yeah. He was like, it's not the only place to work.
Yeah. Sami Zayn is coming for Gunther. How do you feel about that?
I like it. Because he is technically the last person to beat him.
Yeah, but do you think it's too soon? It hasn't even been a year. It's been like 6
I know
months
that's.
since
I
they
guess
just
I
started
don't.
face each other.
Who else would they gonna have though to face Gunther right now?
I don't know. Talk about not having creative plans. Like,
That's true. That's true. Um, yeah. I mean, either way, it is now that you say it, it probably is too soon for Sammy, but I still like it that they're having.
we just did this at WrestleMania.
That shit wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
That was definitely that was less than 7 months, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because it was in
So
yeah.
it's fine. It'll do fine. It's not going to be bad.
Yeah.
I guess they already have material to tell the story, which they already initiated with. Yeah, like you said, he was the last person to beat Gunther. So
Yeah.
the groundwork's laid, but could have found someone else. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, maybe I gotta trust the process of them. They haven't really let me down all that much lately. So.
Maybe like it's a thing for like bad blood because those two have bad blood together.
No pun intended. Braun Breaker would warn Jey Uso backstage to back out of the tournament. I don't know why Braun's only focusing on Jey Uso not being in the tournament, but
because Jay's gonna win, I guess. It's like, are they focusing on it?
For Braun Breaker this early, but
No.
main event though, Damian Priest would find a partner. He would tell Rhea Yeet.
Yeah.
He would.
Damon was like, "Did he say yes?"
Earlier. He was like, "She said no," and he was like, "Well, what the hell?" And he was just like, "He said Yeet." All the fans already knew it was going to be Jey Uso.
Yeah.
But that team would end up defeating the Judgment Day in the main event. I really thought they'd be building towards like Balor and Priest, but there's still nothing that's like focused on just them. It's still like the whole group.
I mean, it's funny. I know you don't have Raw on right now, but it's like ironic that you just said that, and literally now it's Priest and Finn in the ring right now.
Spoke too soon. Normally I'd be the one spoiling the stuff.
I know. It just like you literally were like, "I'm surprised they're not doing Damon and Finn," and it's like Damon walks out as soon as you said that.
So that's Raw though. Let's get into SmackDown. Cody Rhodes would open up the show. Bloodline would end up coming out, and Solo Sikoa. I was just like, during this part, I was so confused. He's just like, I deserve a title shot. I'm like, you just had one at SummerSlam.
Like you lost.
You literally just had one.
Yeah.
He's just like, I deserve it. It's like,
he's like, I need a title shot.
I don't think he's had a singles match since then.
No, he's not won a match.
So I don't know why you think you deserve it, but then Cody said something intriguing that got me thinking. I was like, this could be good, but maybe it's planting a seed, getting at it later kind of thing.
Yeah.
He basically threw out the challenge, though, that he would give Jacob Fatu a title shot. And Jacob would come in the ring and almost make it seem like he was going to do it, or agree to it. Solo was giving him a look. And what did he say? He's like, I'm loyal to you, Tribal Chief.
He's like, I love you, my Tribal Chief. And he screams it, too, when he says it.
He's acting in like a romantic movie.
Yeah. But I saw a lot of stuff online about this segment because of how little of a reaction Solo got when he was like, didn't he agree to a title shot or a match in like 2 weeks or something like that?
Don't even remember.
Okay. Well,
what I do remember is that the crowd was hyped though for the Jacob Fatu stuff.
That was the main point. Is like they're more hyped to see him and Cody than Solo and Cody, and like no one cared when Solo was like, "It's me and you." I kind of like his entrance
music hit. I was gonna say every time his music hit, I'm like, "Go get the dome." Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, like it sticks in my head.
It's hilarious that we both were saying it. So it looked like though the Bloodline was about to attack Cody, and then the Street Profits and DIY would pop out of seemingly nowhere, kind of even the odds. This would set up a main event match for later in the night. The Bloodline, which would be all four members: Solo, Jacob Fatu, Tamatanga, and Tongaloa against the Street Profits and DIY. But before we get to that, Giovanni would re-debut on SmackDown this time. I'm kind of like missed opportunity in my mind not to.
I heard that a lot.
What, like go after
There's
Ludwig?
No, this segment was a missed opportunity right now.
Oh, well, I was saying it was a missed opportunity to not go after the person that attacked him.
Well,
Again,
yeah,
that's like Seth just like forgetting about Bronson Reed and for some reason going straight for CM Punk. Like,
right, yeah.
But so before they brought Imperium to NXT, like American NXT, Giovanni Vinci was first wrestling by himself. So they were a full group in NXT UK. Walter, Marcel Barthel, which is Ludwig Kaiser, and then Giovanni Vinci, which used to be Fabian Eichner. Then he came to NXT without Ludwig, without Gunther, and it was just him, but they changed his name. They changed his name to Giovanni Vinci. And he was this Italian guy in a suit, and like that was his gimmick. It was similar to this. So it's like they went back to this, but yeah, for his debut, he was in the middle of taking off his jogging suit, jogging pants, and sweatshirt, and would get rolled up by Apollo Crews. So
Apollo Crews of all people too.
That was kind of crazy. He had his back facing him, and the bell rang, and he got rolled up. So I don't ever understand why they do this when people debut. It's not the first time.
Yeah, like what does it do for this person then?
Triple H just like trust the process.
You're like, all right, you're not 10 for 10 on everything.
We'll see, but I don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of it. Backstage, Kevin Owens would be talking with A-Town Down Under and pretty much challenge them to a triple threat match to test how good of friends they really are with one another. Eventually, we're going to get the breakup between the two.
Yeah, and Theory's going to go.
Theory's going to go babyface.
Face, yeah.
I think people hate Grayson Waller more than Austin Theory.
I think so. Yeah.
Grayson Waller sucks.
Yeah, in that sense, like he's the one who has to turn on Theory then, I feel like. Unless it's like something like where he's like, I don't know, trying to cheat and then Theory like hits him or something like that instead.
Remember Becky turned on Charlotte, but she was cheered. She became like even more popular.
Yeah, that's right.
You never know. It's kind of a defining moment in a person's career. Like,
yeah, I don't think people hate Waller the way they hated Charlotte Flair there. Then
yeah, that's true. LA Knight would have a segment. You think we're gonna get a United States title match on a pay-per-view, or do you think he's just gonna doing a SmackDown stuff?
I kind of hope for him. Like, yeah. I don't know. He finally got a title, and it's kind of like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a huge deal. Even though LA Knight,
fans still love him.
I know. I was gonna say he gets like one of the biggest pops of every SmackDown that when I watch it. So I don't know. I don't know why it's like a weird thing where I feel like he's not. No one has pushed him to like the top, really.
Well, he'd be talking about next challengers, and that would come out Carmelo Hayes saying that because he beat Andrade twice in a row, he deserves a title shot, even though Andrade beat him twice in a row before that. So, I don't know. But that being said, Andrade would come out. They'd kind of go back and forth.
And he's like, no, I beat you twice in a row.
Yeah, LNA would be like, I'll leave you guys to it.
Yeah.
But he would end up BFTing both of them in the end because as they were fighting, they got pushed into LA Knight, if I believe. Andrade got pushed into LA Knight, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe we get a triple threat. Maybe the winner of the best out of 5 with them gets the title shot.
Either of those, I think, would be good. But I don't know. Like, how do you feel about LA Knight's finisher for this whole time? Because I feel like it's not bad, but I feel like
Carmelo
it's kind of
took
weird.
It great. Andrade took it weird.
Yeah.
Like he didn't know it was supposed to be taken like that.
Yeah, and also I just feel like it's a weird way to grab someone's head. How he does it.
It's a stunner, but you pull him down to like vertical.
And like it goes into the ground. I don't know.
Speaking of stunners and taking moves, Theory taking Kevin Owens' stunner like he took Stone Cold's at
that's like one of the best
3 years ago.
That was great.
So yeah, I was thinking about that though with the BFT when LA Knight did it, but
yeah,
I mean Carmelo Hayes took it fine. Andrade also would bring up during that segment how that was the last singles WWE title he held.
The U.S. title?
It's been a while.
Wow.
It was before they changed it. I mean,
yeah,
it was years ago, obviously, because he was in AEW for a little bit. But
also, this is the most TV time Andrade has had in a while. Like other than the matches itself with Carmelo Hayes, I was like, he's actually been on TV.
Dude, I loved him in NXT with Zelina Vega.
Oh yeah, they were the best.
Because she just talked for him, so it's just like
wasn't it like him and Finn, right? For the title, for NXT title?
He feuded with who did he beat?
Oh, it wasn't like
this is what happened. Like, so Bobby around the time Bobby Roode and Drew, but then Drew got hurt, and was out for a little bit, but he lost the title anyway. I think pretty quickly because he was gonna get called up to the main roster.
Andrade had a really good match with Johnny Gargano, didn't he?
I think the pay-per-view before he became champ.
Yeah, because I remember that match and I was like, that's still one of the best matches I think I've seen.
So yeah, Bobby Roode won it in January 2017. Drew then won it August 19th, 2017. And then the next takeover after that, which was November 18th, Andrade won it.
That's crazy.
And then he held it all the way to April, in which Aleister Black would win it.
That's crazy. It was that long ago. When you said 2017.
7 years, man. Scary.
That's crazy.
Because I remember like NXT Gold like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. I was like, I remember watching takeovers and everything.
Main event though was the Bloodline versus Street Profits and DIY, which we said was going to happen. The Bloodline will end up defeating the Street Profits and the DIY. Don't really know what they're doing with all this yet.
Yeah, in these matches, I do love the sequences when they have each person coming in and hitting a move on one person, and then someone hitting a move on them. Because there's
completely taking them out.
Yeah, and there's like 8 people in this match, so or 6 people. I mean, no, that's 8.
Eight. Yeah. So that wraps up WWE this week. Before we get into Dynamite, though, one more thing with WWE that I forgot to mention at the top of the show: the Vince McMahon documentary trailer called "Mr. McMahon" for Netflix came out this past week. Officially comes out the 25th. Wait for it. Dude, it looks great. So, like I was telling you, like. This was originally getting made when like Vince was involved, and Vince.
Yeah, he was like,
it's kind of like, I'm gonna make me look good, pal. It's gonna look great in this, you know. And then the scandals happen, and it kind of.
And those are in there.
It's not out of his hand, or it became out of his hands now, and Netflix is like, all right, like we told you a certain way up to a point. It's about to take a turn. You know, it's not like the Michael Jordan doc where he was involved the whole time and like, I'm the fucking shit. Like, you're involved up into a point. And then do you remember that when the Vince doc was first announced, we were like, are they going to get into it? Like,
yeah.
But remember how the scandal happened and then like more of it happened a year later? I wonder if
like he was
the first part.
Yeah, like he was okay after
about like the real messed up stuff they were.
Yeah, which they reference in the trailer because he was like, you would think you would have an idea of like what would happen. Like everyone's like, I had no idea it was gonna be like this. Yeah, I want to see.
Like, it's gonna break Netflix.
Yeah, the one thing I think I sent to you and Tim was people were calling it like a double burial of Vince. They're basically like. I was gonna say shitting on him, but I was gonna not use that pun. No pun. Yeah, but basically like that. But I want to see like what Hulk Hogan and The Rock say because they're in the documentary, so they're probably like the good part. I feel like they're like he's great.
There's a couple people we saw said that we saw like Cena.
Yeah, Brett.
I would love to hear from Stephanie McMahon.
Oh yeah,
you haven't really heard anything.
I don't think she would.
Brett's like, I told you he was a piece of shit.
Isn't there like a line where Brett's
trying
like,
to tell you for years?
where he's like, I punched him in the face, and he's like, I would not change a second of that at all.
So I'm really excited for that. That's like 2 weeks ish, week and a half.
Yeah, that's great. 25th, yeah.
Be here before you know it. All right, let's get into AEW stuff. I'm gonna try to go faster because these were their go home shows. So I'll talk about the things, but maybe not go so in depth with anything. Dynamite would open up with Daniel Garcia, cutting on a promo on Max MJF, who ended up showing up in the crowd, kind of in his own section, surrounded by security. This would go back and forth. MJF, I think, would bring up Daniel Garcia's mom. Both would threaten each other like they're going to break each other's neck. There's a lot of like talking about breaking necks in this segment. It's like, all right, you want to kill people, literally.
Well, there was a theme. Like, there's a theme. We'll just say, like, All In was nice.
It started with that, and Dynamite, the way this Dynamite ended, I was like, what the fuck? Like, people should be arrested. Why is no one going to jail?
I know. I was just going to say, like, All In was, like, a nice, like, it felt like a nice light show compared to what All Out was.
All Out was a long show, and it only had 8 matches.
Yeah, it was a dark show. Like, dark as in, like, the things that happen.
Get into it. Let's go.
Dark Andes.
John Moxley and Marina Shafir would continue beating people up backstage. I guess we kind of know where they're going with it, which we'll talk about later on. Before, I was like, I don't really understand what's happening, but now I do. Christopher Daniels would ban Camille from ringside for Mercedes' all-out match against Hikaru Shida. And then the main segment, the final segment of the night, was the Swerve and Hangman contract signing. Swerve would come out. He's waiting at the table. Hangman's music's playing. It's not. No one's coming out. Nothing's happening. Hangman would pop up on stage, and he is at. Apparently, I don't think it's real, but
yeah, I doubt that.
Swerve bought his childhood home. All right,
which they announced like earlier in the week, which was kind of like a cool, like yeah.
They were like, "Oh, he signed a new contract. He was able to buy his
childhood home
because of it." And then they cut like a video earlier in the night, like, "Yeah, like I got to buy this home," and like he's holding pictures. He's like, "Yeah, my grandma, my dad, my mom, we'd all, holidays here."
Yeah,
the things you do at houses. Spend holiday, yeah.
The things you do at houses.
Heyman's at this house, and he's basically going to burn down Swerve's life, and so he starts pouring gasoline and pouring it everywhere, and there's a random chair.
He set up like a lawn chair in the front yard.
It wasn't a lawn chair, it was like a reclining, like
it was like a
seat,
like a living room chair.
And he lights that bitch on fire, and it was on fire.
I don't know how much like gas they actually put into that house to make it go like that.
They also had to have bought like a rundown house or something.
Yeah,
and like
they definitely did.
And tell the
we're gonna burn this down.
Tell the fire department. I mean, people said they saw them, but it was like a closed off like set. I just saw Hangman sitting in a chair. Like,
just you look out your window, like the house is on fire next door. Like Hangman sitting up front.
You get one take with this, all right?
I know you can't mess that up.
So
yeah,
I was just like watching it, like that's how far they went. Why is no one arrested? They're like, wrestling is so ridiculous. It's the only thing that's like, you burn down my house, no jail. We're just gonna fight it out.
You know what? Now let's just go wrestle in Hell in a Cell or like a cage match, and then that's how we're gonna settle it. Like you committed arson.
You know what? These guys are gonna beat the shit out of each other. That's enough for us. Arson, fuck it.
Yeah.
Steel cage. It's enough punishment.
And Swerve also did like pretty good acting. Like when the house was being burned down, he was like yelling and all that stuff. So
punching the mat.
Yeah.
So that was Dynamite. Collision and Rampage came on back to back. Collision first, then Rampage. And it actually would bleed into it with the main event of Collision starting Rampage. Mark Briscoe would defeat Lance Archer in a Continental Contenders Challenge to find out the other 3 members in the Fatal 4-Way Continental title match at All Out. So Mark Briscoe would advance. FTR and GYV would brawl after GYV's tag team match. Orange Cassidy would defeat Brian Keith in the Continental Contenders Challenge match. So now we got Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy, both of the conglomeration. Such a ridiculous name.
I know, that's
very Mark Briscoe thing to be like the conglomeration. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, where did that even come from?
Pretty sure Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
So both of those guys are now in the match, and there's one more spot open, which we'll get to in a second. There was a sit-down interview with Renee, mediating between Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander's beef is basically like no one was there for her during her injury. Or was it after she lost the title?
I mean, both things, I think it was, because she had... Well, first, remember, she hurt both of her knees at different times, where she returned and then she hurt another knee, which is, like, crazy.
So she was saying no one's there for her, and that's kind of the reason behind the turn. Takeshita would defeat the Beast Mortos in the Continental Contenders Challenge. Final match. So now we got Takeshita, Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Kazuchika Okada in this Fatal 4-Way match for All Out. And then with Rampage, the one little thing I wanted to talk about was it was after the main event, and it closed the show. Will Ospreay talking to the camera about Pac and about how Pac paved the way for people like Ospreay, and that they've had a match on the Indies that ended in a draw and like a time limit draw, and that didn't sit well with Ospreay. Pac, when he attacked him, said, "Don't forget about the bastard Pac," and Ospreay was saying, "No one's forgotten about you."
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
So, I'm excited to talk about it. There was a lot that happened on this pay-per-view, and it was a good pay-per-view. Just like last year, it went all in, then all out, and both pay-per-views were good. This All Out was better,
just pushed...
I think, than last year's All Out, if I can remember. Yeah. Edge debuted at last year's All Out. That's how long it's been.
Was it? No, Didn't Edge debut at Wrestle Dream?
No. Did he?
Yeah, I think it was Wrestle Dream.
No, I really thought it... I thought it was All Out. I thought it was Darby Allin.
Now you're making me double guesses. Yeah, because I remember All Out last year was like the main event was Orange Cassidy and Moxley.
Right. Fuck, you're right. You're right.
But
when was
the thing,
Wrestle Dream?
Wrestle Dream was later in the year, wasn't it?
2023.
But the thing that I remember about last year's All Out was wasn't really have any stories going on really, because it was a week after.
Yeah.
And the in-ring.
Matches. Okay. It was I knew it was early in there. Sorry, it was the next pay-per-view, October 1st.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
I didn't know Wrestle Dream was that soon.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Opening match: Daniel Garcia versus MJF. MJF would end up defeating Daniel Garcia. All right, before we get to the ending, which I wasn't a fan of the finish.
I never
very
liked
MJF,
this.
but
yeah.
I didn't like it. These dudes beat the I mean, I'm going to say this a lot. These dudes beat the shit out of each other. Daniel Garcia, I mean, both guys are super good. Different kind of styles. Not that one's a high flyer, but Daniel Garcia is a little more technical, I'd say.
Yeah, it definitely is, yeah. And also, I think this was like finally like one of a spotlight for him to actually show what he can do.
Yeah, but Tony Khan won't capitalize on it, so...
Yeah. Like the end of this match, like we'll
he's
just
had
say,
a lot of times that capitalize on Daniel Garcia.
I know
fans are still behind him, and he just doesn't do it.
We were counting. I think that was like the third time. We're like, this is it. You can't like have another chance with him.
It's like the Ricky Starks stuff. I don't even know if Ricky Starks is.
I think Ricky Starks is done, but Daniel Garcia though, like the thing or the MJF stuff, like MJF won, but also him and I'll just say also that Swerve are taking time off for like injuries, I guess, or something like that, or just having time off. And I was like, why would you have MJF win then?
I don't know, but now those two endings make sense.
Yeah, but it's like just have Daniel Garcia. It's almost like the Punk thing. Like, you want to put him over, like, then have him win.
So have him win and then overkill.
Yeah,
take him out.
yeah, because it's already
okay. So the match itself, the kind of common thing that kept happening is Daniel Garcia trying to do the tombstone off of the top rope, right?
Yeah,
That was what was going on. Daniel Garcia, he would end up bleeding, correct? Not MJF though.
Yeah, he was bleeding. Yeah, Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, I mean, match was fucking solid. I thought it was a great opener. In the end, so Daniel Garcia tries to do the tombstone. MJF reverses it and sits down in the corner. He pulls the ref aside, and then when the ref's turned around, he low blows Daniel Garcia and does a roll up. Fucking pin.
And I was like, all right, well.
Afterwards, MJF offers his hand to fucking Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia accepts, kicks, low blows MJF, and then takes him out with that tombstone off the top.
Yeah.
So then
because it's like
you're saying that MJF is taking some time off, which he just took some time off.
I know that's what everyone said too. Like, didn't he just take time off? Or I don't know. I don't know if this is his thing is injury or not, but like I think Swerve's is. But either way, I don't like the ending. Like I think we joked about it before. Like, what is MJF's finisher? Like, I think it's a roll up.
It's also like it's a roll up. It's like almost like a paradigm shift DDT.
Yeah.
He does something like that.
Yeah, it does something like that, but I never.
Good opening match though. Afterwards, this match is fine.
This was like the match of the night.
And I don't know if that's tainted because of how I feel about the Bucks. But
I know I was feeling the same way. I was like, I don't know if I was like, maybe I should try to enjoy.
I don't like Wheeler Yuta. I fucking hate Wheeler Yuta. He just bothers me, man. So it was the Bucks defeating Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta to retain the AEW Tag Team Championship.
Match was fine.
The match was fine. Claudio's always fun to watch.
Yeah,
I like watching Claudio.
The Bucks, I don't know. I feel like they don't do as much.
Do you see their new Twitter handle or X?
No,
what
is it? What is it?
Oh, really?
No.
Matt Jackson. Bear with me real quick, everyone. X. Oh, did he change it? I hope he didn't change it.
Was it something funny?
They changed it a little bit ago.
They changed their bios all the time for something sarcastic usually.
They did. That's the thing. Like, basically being like, "We know you're tired of us." Like,
oh wait, I saw something like that. Yeah, and he's like, "But you're still talking about us," or something like that.
Yeah. Fuck. Damn it. Because they changed it, so like now it's not relevant anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. The match was fine.
But yeah, I don't feel like the Bucks wrestle the same. I know they're heels and everything, but they still don't wrestle the same way as I feel like they used to, which was like the thing about them.
Might be because they're older. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Also, their outfits are ridiculous with the suits.
They're so stupid. I never liked that.
That was like there was like 2 matches on the show. I was like, and there was that one, and then another one later on. Yeah. I don't know about you,
like. But... I would take the Bucks wearing their rompers again compared to this. Remember, like when they with Kenny Omega,
yeah,
and they're all wearing those rompers before, and I was like, that was stupid, but
something we need Kenny back.
Yeah, we do.
After that match, there was a lot. It's hard to say what match of the night is because there were so many different, like, kind of like
I know it's different
pure
styles.
Wrestling. I guess you could say this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like this one has to be this one.
Well, Danielson and Jack Perry was like solid, but yeah,
but this one was like, I mean,
it was crazy.
I don't think as much stuff they did.
People might have forgotten how Pac is, and
yeah,
I think
that's
Pac
what I think.
Was like, fuck all y'all.
But like, I don't as much of the stuff they did in this match. I don't even think they really messed up anything really, which is crazy to say.
I mean, there's so many spots that like normally like someone's neck would just be fucking broken.
Or someone just land on their head.
Like he did the poison rana on the side.
I know.
On the apron.
Yeah. That thud when they hit too. I was like, oh my god.
There was a lot of poison runs, a lot of landing on their heads. Will would break out a bunch of fucking moves. He broke out the Styles Clash.
Did you hear the crowd say it? They all said Styles Clash. Like everyone just audibly said it.
He broke out Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
Pac went for a poison rana off the top rope, which Ospreay landed on his feet. And
that was the craziest thing ever. I was like, how did he land on his feet that quick? And then he hit hit the elbow then after that, right?
Yeah, in the corner.
Yeah.
He ran back and did the
yeah.
Pac would do a black arrow on the outside to Ospreay. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot done in this match. They say that about a lot of like AEW pay-per-view matches. Like there was a lot it's just kind of too much at times. But start to finish, I mean, it was action-packed.
See, but this was cool though because this is like the first time in how many years they've wrestled each other since the indie match, right?
I guess. So, I mean, wouldn't it have to be? I mean, Pac. I don't know if he was doing indie stuff while in AEW before Ospreay was signed. So I don't know when.
No, I mean that was before like Pac was signed to WWE. So that's over 10 years, I think.
Okay.
Probably, but yeah, that's like the cool thing that I think they just wanted to like see what they could do to each other. That was crazy. And also like I don't know how Ospreay does it when he does that like kind of like that kick, but then he flips off the person and lands on his feet.
Like the karate.
Yeah, and he like flips and lands on his feet. I was like, how? Yeah. And speaking of Ricochet, he was watching
backstage. Well, they had a segment backstage too. Did you see that?
Yeah. So I was just saying he was watching the whole match as well. They showed him backstage, on the angle of like looking at TV this way.
Weird angle. Yeah. Like we all watch TV. Like
you just angle your body.
But no, there was a little interview backstage with Ospreay, and basically, in a fun way, called out Ricochet, and then Ricochet would come up, smack his hand away, and said, "You talking shit?" He said, "Let me run up or rack up some wins under my belt, basically, and he'll be coming for you." So we'll get it by the end of the year.
Yeah, I was glad they said that too, and not just running straight into it. I was like, yeah, he needs to win some matches first, and then he can actually have a match.
Still say we need a heel Ricochet. I don't know why he didn't come in as a heel.
I don't know. Maybe he might develop that.
Maybe he's trying to get more serious. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He said shit. I feel like that to him felt pretty good.
He's like, is that all
right? He's like, did I say something bad?
So I don't know. Vince never let me. I left before this Netflix deal started, so. All right. So this next match was way. So did I say Will Ospreay won? In case I didn't. Will Ospreay
yeah. Will Ospreay won. Yeah.
Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander was way better than I thought it would be.
So much better than I thought it was going to be.
Normally, I don't like street fights in general.
Yeah, there's not much that really changes the match.
And the ones that I've seen with women, it's like they're being held back.
Yeah, I think that's
a producer thing. I don't think it's up to them.
Yeah, because I feel like they're like
not held back. Whew. Them bitches beat the shit out of each other. Them bitches fuck each other up. Let me tell you something.
That was wild.
Yeah, they fucking whooped each other. So
they had everything in this match too.
I mean, yeah, there was trash cans, there was tables. Was there a Singapore cane stick?
Yeah. There was
kendo stick. I mean,
yeah, kendo stick. Yeah, a thumbtack. That thumbtack spot with Statlander. She did a split on them.
It was almost fucking in her vagina. Yeah, Chris Statlander went through them. She landed them a couple times. The
Yeah.
poor ref, every time they're counting near there.
I know, he was like,
Because they're not looking at their hand like...
Yeah, I know. Like, so they hit the mat and they hit the thumbtacks. And they're like, ow.
He's wearing thin-ass latex gloves. Like,
yeah, I think they ripped because of that, too.
So these girls are bleeding. There was a spot where they went through table off the stage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Spear?
it was like...
Was it a spear?
Yeah. Willow Nightingale, Speeder. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see Willow say, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
During that part.
Yeah.
But the craziest spot was the swanton.
Oh, my God.
So Willow's on the table on the outside, and Chris Statlander goes up on the turnbuckle. She wants to do a swanton to the outside. All right, swanton looked fine. Willow is supposed to get out of the way. She gets off the table.
Yeah.
But Chris Statlander is fucking tall as shit compared to Willow for one.
Yeah.
And
she needed to roll more away from the table, but she didn't get there.
Dude, when she came down, as Willow's running away, fucking Chris Statlander's legs just crush Willow's back of the head, and Willow just goes down so quick. If I wouldn't be surprised if she had a concussion, but she seemed to do the rest of the match just fine. So I don't know.
Yeah, she seems all right, but yeah, I saw that too. I was like, I'm gonna start like.
I rewound it. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, because I'm like, she was supposed to move, right?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure like that was like supposed to be a move, out of the way spot. And I don't know how that hasn't happened before. I guess normally it's like an elbow or something. You normally don't see people like.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess because you like most of your body lands on the other side of the table.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. So. Oh, and also the light tube spot. Where
they broke.
I was
out,
surprised about that.
Lights, and Willow used it on Chris Statlander.
Right on the head,
like glass. Yeah, all over. So Chris would end up winning. I feel like she probably needed a win.
Yeah. And she finally has a run where she's not being injured either right now, too.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, after this match. It was like the kind of match that like both women, if they went out there for a segment this past week, would get like a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
It felt like that. Really liked that match a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They crushed it. I hope they give them more of an opportunity to maybe do stuff like that better.
Yeah, I kind of wish that like WWE would let the women go like that too, because I feel like that's a universal thing. Like they hold back the women as in like, oh, you can't bleed or you can't do this, but like it's just
Candice
as cool.
LeRae has done some crazy shit on the indies, and
yeah, exactly.
I'm like, she can do some shit like that. Mia Yim was just in a street fight.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe when they go to Netflix, they'll do that.
Maybe. Okay, let's move on. There was the 4-way Continental Championship contenders match.
Did you like this match?
It was alright.
That's what I thought too.
There was parts like okay, so in the match was Okada, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Takeshita. Every time it was like Takeshita and Okada, the crowd got hyped. I got hyped. It was like cool. Have we gotten a 1-on-1 with them?
No.
Okay.
Everyone's hoping that they're in that because they have that Continental Classic thing coming up, and everyone wants them. Yeah.
So that part was always cool seeing them. If people don't know, they were both like the top of each other's company. DDT was Takeshita. He was towards the top, and Okada, most people know, was like the John Cena of fucking New Japan. So to see these two, they every time they were in the ring, that was like my favorite part of the match. Other than that, I've said it before, it's nothing against the wrestlers. The wrestlers in the match are great. Fatal 4-ways can be messy. Triple threats can be messy, but fatal 4-ways even more. There's a lot of sitting around waiting for your spot kind of thing. You let like two guys go at it sometimes, and I'm just not a big fan of it. But the ones in AEW a lot of the time I've noticed have been done well enough to where I'm not too bothered by it.
Yeah, I think they also
with, the 4 pillars. That was a really good one they did.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, they just have that style overall. I think of just like the nonstop action part. which is like good when it's a multiple people match. But like those are the other parts where we say like they need to slow it down because you don't remember all the spots. There's like too much, so it's like kind of like both sides of it. But I mean, Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy, I don't think you ever thought they were going to win, and I don't feel like they added too much.
I
to
really
it either.
only thought Okada or Takeshita would win, but
Yeah.
I hope that if it does come down to Takeshita and Okada, that I think it's time for him to win a title and for him to dethrone Okada would be like a passing the torch kind of scenario. I think that'd be good.
That'd be really cool.
This next match was my least favorite on the card. How'd you feel about Mercedes?
Yeah, I don't know. This one was like,
okay. The car shoot is like Moxley to where they just shove her in a spot if they need like someone to go against the champion. She's been champion more times than anyone else, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Is it 2? Is it 3? Or is it 3 times? 3 times would make her more.
I think it's 2 times because Moxley is 3. I think he's the most.
But I meant for the women, like no one else has held the belt.
Yeah. I mean, but like I think he has the most in the company. Like no one else has had it more.
Yeah, because they had to shoehorn him in to do that. So, I don't know, man. I just didn't care for this match. It was fine.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was fine. There was one spot that I kind of like. It wasn't like a big thing either. It was just Shida, like kicked Mercedes in the face. I feel like pretty hard, and I feel like do you remember that spot where she's like Mercedes was like on her knees basically, and she like kicks her in the face, and it looks like it really connected too. And then Shida even kind of like went down, like checked on her and see if she was good, and then like did another kick and it was fine. But like I was like, that was only a spot.
We're not doing Saraya and Mercedes. It's a very easy story to tell.
Where is Saraya anyways?
Doing hilarious segments with Harley backstage.
Hilarious segments.
Dude, Harley Cameron backstage is so fucking funny in these interviews with Saraya.
That is true.
But no, Saraya versus Mercedes Moné is so easy to tell. Mercedes took Saraya out for years with that kick from behind. That's what injured her.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, that's it. Then that's like all you need.
You took time away from my career.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like for some reason Saraya was pushed very hard in the beginning, and even like was a champion.
Like
and
all
of
stuff. Tony's new toys, though, all the new ones are pushed.
Yeah, and then he doesn't push them anymore, and like they just get lost. And I'm like, I don't know. She could easily be used, like you said.
So I guess you can call it the main event because the lights out match.
Yeah, you spelled Brian wrong again.
Did I? No, I spelled it right this time.
No, it's with a Y.
Fuck, it is or a Y. I was like, no, this one's a I, and then Brian Keith is a Y, so they're both a Y.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll correct it next time. Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry for the AEW World Championship. How'd you feel about the match?
I thought it was pretty good. I kind of like actually kind of like the Jack Perry's entrance, like that goat mask that he actually has, the scapegoat. I actually kind of like that. It's kind of a cool look. But yeah, I thought overall the match itself was like pretty good. It wasn't like crazy or anything like that. But like,
I think Danielson made Perry look good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like no one thought that Perry was gonna win at all, so he really had to like make him look good.
My friend Corey sent me a video today. Did you know Jack Perry made that title from home?
Yeah.
Have you seen the video?
Yeah, he like welded it and all that stuff.
He pours the metal and gets the mold for it, and then
is that crazy?
I didn't know, and then like splatters the blood color.
Yeah,
paint onto it.
I was like, how does he know how to do this?
That's what I was also wondering. I was just
like, where do you learn this from?
You're the son of an actor.
But yeah,
like you grew up rich. What rich guys like?
Yeah, he's like, let me weld this title belt together.
I could be being ignorant right now, not know it.
Yeah,
but afterwards,
afterwards is what mattered the most.
So afterwards, the Bucks come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And someone needs to say Brian. So out comes Blackpool Combat Club featuring Pac.
Yeah, he's a part of them now.
Yeah, he's an honorary member. He's an honorary oos of
Yeah.
Blackpool Combat Club. Moxley's there. Mauricio fears with him. Claudio, Wheeler. Wheeler's the only one that wasn't in on this segment, apparently.
That's what made it better, though.
So they all stand and they hold up Brian's hand together, and they're all lined up. And Claudio backs up and hits Brian from behind. Starts beating him up. Pac pulls Wheeler Yuta into the corner. And they're beating up his mentor.
Wheeler's like, no!
Brian! It's the best acting I've ever seen Wheeler Yuta do.
I know. Yeah, it was he's like a kid of divorced parents now, I feel like. Because he's still part of their trios.
He's a trio. Yeah. So, two things. One, okay, well, I guess.
Well, you want to say the part?
I can't say the one until I say what Moxley did. Yeah. So then Moxley takes a plastic bag, pulls it pretty tight over Brian's face.
For a good amount of time.
Brian had to tear in a little tiny hole or something in his mouth.
Yeah, they had to have something like either Brian to tap him or something like that to be like, all right, that's enough. But
it was tight. But yeah, they tried to kill Bryan Danielson on pay-per-view.
The crowd saying, "This is murder."
Yeah. And I think they've done it one time in the past. I forget what they did it for, but
yeah, that took it up way faster than I thought it was going to be.
So after 3 years, maybe since when did Bryan Danielson debut? 3 years ago?
I think it was 3 years about, yeah.
Which basically is when the Blackpool Combat Club was formed. Not long after that, they had a match together, him and Moxley. Do you think we get Moxley and Danielson again?
I think so at a certain point, because
tried to murder him.
Yeah, I was going to say that you don't just not do anything to a person.
Unless this is the month of forgetting about the people that did things to you and moving on to someone else.
I have a feeling that Bryan Danielson's going to come out. Well, he'll probably be there on Wednesday for Dynamite, but he'll probably come out and be like, they try to kill me.
Actually, get out here so I can kick your fucking head.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I love that Bryan Danielson does not care if he says the F word on every single Dynamite now going forward. I think he said it.
Bleep it out.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to kick your fucking head in. They just bleep it.
So yeah, that before we get to the Lights Out match, that was if the pay-per-view had ended there, it would have ended with attempted murder.
Yep. And then next match, we get more attempted murder.
So the Lights Out Steel Cage match. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. Before the match starts and the cage is actually down, Nana throws in a bunch of weapons to help out. There's a big toolbox in there, which will get used. Yeah, I mean, we've seen these two beat the shit out of each other in their death match or whatever it was. I forgot what kind of match it was.
Yeah, it was a death match, yeah. Where Hangman drank Swerve's blood.
And the stapler was first brought out. Well, the stapler was brought out again.
Yeah. Do you want to talk
out of order?
The very beginning of the match when the cage is coming down, and they're already fighting, and they're on the ring, but their heads are hanging off the apron, and then Swerve is trying to hold Hangman there so the cage comes down. And I think Nana is the one who pushed them both in. Come on.
So these guys were out for blood for sure.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, again, a lot of this stuff's going to be out of order because there was so much fucked up shit that happened. Hangman's the first to get the staple gun. Starts stapling Swerve's chest as Swerve is walking towards him. Swerve's laughing off.
That has to hurt, though. You ever gotten a staple gun in your arm or whatever?
I've gotten a staple caught in my finger, but I've never been a staple gun, just a regular stapler.
Yeah, that hurts, too, in your finger when you get it by accident.
I just don't know how you pull it out without fucking your shit up.
I know.
Because they twist.
Yeah, that's how they hook in there. Yeah.
So Swerve, though, would end up getting childhood photos and stapling them to Hangman's chest and face. There was a lot done with a cinder block in this match.
Oh.
That was a Hangman came down on his back at one point. Well, they both.
Yeah, his lower back, I think.
Swerve did a dead eye to Hangman.
Yeah, on the center block. And then Swerve got thrown onto the center block, like straight on the back. Like all right in the middle of his back.
Swerve did, what's his stomp called?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what the exact name is for.
It's kind of like a coup de grace from.
Yeah.
He did it to Hangman. He jumped off the top ropes, hit Hangman. Hangman went through a table. I thought that was a cool spot.
That was pretty cool.
Fuck. Again, out of order. There was a spot. This is later in the match, towards the ending.
Are you going to talk about the
needle?
Yeah. It was a full like had the what there was some stuff in there.
What was it? Supposed to be like numbing stuff?
I don't know.
You're like, just put heroin in there.
He just dabbed him with it.
I'm sorry, guys.
And then it was like
in his mouth.
Yeah, in his mouth. So then Swerve was like on his knees and is like hanging on out of his mouth because this needle's in his mouth right now.
I mean, you saw Hangman push.
Yeah, he pushed whatever he had in there.
So it was right after that, though, Hangman took a chair and fucking no block.
No, straight.
Shot that broke the fucking chair.
Yeah.
Everyone sound from a crowd video.
That was crazy. That was probably one of the best, like, chair. I mean, I don't want to, like, say it's, like, one of the best spots, but, like, one of the best, like, noises or effects from a chair spot. Because remember, I feel like that's close to, like, when, like...
You're like, CTE? Worth it because of that sound.
Remember, like, when JBL hit Eddie Guerrero with the chair, right? That was, yeah. And it was like that sound of it. I feel like it was close to that.
That's the good stuff, right?
That's right in there.
That's the good stuff. So Hangman, after that chair shot, no pins or nothing. Ref called it by knockout.
Yeah,
which is rare.
That's pretty cool.
Hangman would get down on his knees at the top of the ramp, and that's how the show would go off the air. Is there any other spots that I'm sure there's a lot I'm forgetting? There was a lot of fucking crazy stuff.
I mean, yeah, I mean those were like the main ones, but I do feel like that chair spot was like, at least I feel like that chair was like, I know they always like say gimmicked, but like loosened so like it would go through.
Yeah,
like so it would obviously hurt very much, but
it flipped 180 the seat part.
Yeah, the seat part. I feel like they like loosened that up so it would just like not be like a thud.
And because I'm assuming everyone was so fucked up from this pay-per-view, only Tony Khan talked in the press conference.
And speaking of that, didn't in that press conference he did say like he like kept the kayfabe about this, but he was like, I spent it was a long night keeping Hangman out of jail after burning down Swerve's house. I was like, oh my god!
I did watch that, but
and also
violent pay-per-view, very good, but very different from All In. Very violent.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it was dark too, because it was like
that's what Bad Blood should be. Is just shit like this where everyone just murders.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the Bad Blood needs to be like that.
Like if anyone walked by and saw what I was watching.
Imagine they walk by with Swerves like the needles hanging out of his mouth.
What the fuck are you into? Like, since I was a kid, this is what I like. I don't know.
Like, you gotta watch it. But also at the end of the show, after it went off the air, people had a video, and it was like Hangman was like deciding whether or not to go down the babyface tunnel or the heel, and he was about to go down the face one, and then he kind of stood there and then went down the heel again. So I think he's a full heel now.
So Swerve is taking time off, you said, right?
Yeah.
Whatever happened with Keith Lee?
I don't even know. Is he okay?
Is he dead?
Well, I know like a few years ago he had that serious health issue, but
then he came back for like one match, and he had like white hair.
That's right. Yeah.
Apparently, Ringside News: Keith Lee's AEW return status amidst prolonged hiatus. He's sidelined. I heard some ideas mentioned for him, but I don't know that he's healthy. I have not got an update on that yet. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's just kind of done if he's not going to be healthy.
Adam Cole's just still fucking...
Yeah. Like, what is with Adam Cole? Is he just not going to ever wrestle again? be kind of sad if that is.
May's like the last update.
It's been over a year.
I mean, he popped in when MJF debuted, but debuted back, but that was it.
Yeah, but
yeah.
So,
So
that wasn't even like him wrestling or anything.
I know Tim says he's trying to get through the show. He did a lot of band stuff this weekend. Well, he was at band practice during the show. He said he watched some of it last night, so maybe we'll pick his brain really quick next week. But that's the episode. I don't have a classic show of the week because I'm not Tim, but I will say if you have not seen this pay-per-view, try to find it.
Maybe Tim can get a Bad Blood show to watch for everyone, like an old one.
Dude, there's only 2, and we might have said them all already.
Oh, did we?
Actually, there's 3. There's one like from years before the 2. Bad Blood, I think 1997.
Oh, wow.
Bad Blood in Your House, 97. And then there's like 2003 and 2004.
I like how everything back then was always like in your house. Like there's a lot of stuff they would call and be like in your house.
And then NXT was doing that for a little bit. And well, In Your House was just a pay-per-view in general. So then Bad Blood was like a theme, I guess, to that. In Your House. Yeah. It went from In Your House was from 95 to 99. In 97 the theme was Bad Blood. In Your House. That might have been real quick because I want to know. That was the Shawn Michaels Undertaker Hell in a Cell.
Oh,
the Bad Blood. There's always a Hell in a Cell at the Bad Bloods.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense then.
So watch some Bad Bloods. Watch All Out. And thank you for joining us for episode 145. Join us next week for episode 146.